All right, so I'm back in the States and I'm clearly cooking because I've got like a million workshops in the mix. But remember when I was talking about how there are so many transits happening in 2025 and that it was going to be a bit of a whirlwind, but it's going to demand a lot of growth out of you? The mother of all the transits is happening today, March 30th, and that is Neptune entering into Aries, the sign of Aries. Now, the last time that this transit happened was in 1861, and it lasted until like 1875. And the themes around that were like just massive social disruption. It was, the world completely reshaping. During that time, the American Civil War happened. I believe that it was also like the unification of Italy. There were all these like European uprisings happening as well. Basically, it's like collapsing. The theme is collapsing old systems to rebuild, and that is like the global theme. And anyone who's been, having their nose stuck to the news has been seeing literally all of us taking to the streets and collapsing governments and demanding for change for the people, right? We no longer are romanticizing celebrities and billionaires and all those folks, who only represent 0.01% of our population. There's the 99.9% of the rest of us are like, yo, fuckers, like, let's do this thing, right? And so we're going to be seeing a massive shift during this time. Aries is the emperor. It is the leader, that archetype demands that you take charge of your life and like take no prisoners essentially. And so you're stepping into something without like overthinking it, like Virgo would, or without getting lost in it like a Pisces would. I'm a Pisces, I get it. What you're doing is, stepping into that Aries archetype. You are demanding change, you're demanding massive shifts, and that's how we're seeing it play out in the global sense. And I've got notes, that's why I'm kind of like tapping down, but your internal theme is what I really want you to focus on, and that is radical reinvention, right? So the last time that Neptune was in Aries, the last transit in Neptune went into Pisces in 2011. So right now, Neptune is transiting out of Pisces, which is kind of like its comfort zone because they're both about dreams and illusions. And it's going into Aries right now. But the last time that happened, that transit happened into Pisces with Neptune, was in 2011. So as you're doing the internal work around this transit, I want you to see what happened in your life between 2011 and I can guarantee you that you notice like a shift in a certain direction, right? And so from 2011 until now, if you were to bottle up whatever theme happened or began during that time and went to full transition, excuse me, I would look into that. And I can speak personally to me. What happened in 2011 was a really big wake-up call around my spirituality, and that's when I got serious about witchcraft. It was something that I was curious about and dabbled with, but there was a shift. I had a dream in 2011, and it was actually around this, I don't know if you can see it. This tattoo is the triple moon, and that is like the maiden, mother, and crone. It's moon cycles of waning, full, and waxing, or waxing, full, and waning. Anyway, I had a dream. I went to a tattoo artist and I'm like, what is this sign? And she was like, oh, you're, meant to dive into witchcraft. And it's actually like more of like a priestess sign. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And so I actually really started educating myself, reading everything I could. I found mentors and I got really serious and doubled down on it, right? And I'll explain this in more detail by using myself as an example, but I want you to, and see how this applies to you, right? I want you to see where Pisces falls in your chart because that's where Neptune is coming out of, is Pisces archetype. And then it's going into Aries. So where does Pisces fall in your chart? And where does Aries fall in your chart, right? And I'm going to give you my chart example so you can kind of understand where I'm going with this because it's going to help you understand what internal shifts are happening with you. So I started getting serious about the craft and my spirituality and my values and morals around religion in 2011. But Pisces, I am a Pisces, and I have Mars and Pisces unfortunately as well, but Pisces falls in my 11th house. And 11th house is around friendships, communities, and social networks. So when I looked at my friend groups, my soulmates, so I consider my friends my soulmates. I found my soulmate friends starting in 2011 in Los Angeles when I was a television producer. And to this day, they are still like my people. And there's like a core, I would say 4 to 6 people that are my people that I started discovering during that time, right? So that was like where it fell into like my focus in my 11th house. Now, Aries is in my 12th house. And that is around intuition. The 12th house is around the subconscious, the liminal space, karmic lessons, spirituality, and your inner world, right? Now, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a go-getter, right? But at the same time, with my craft, I'm feeling like there is a shift happening in our world. And it's funny because I thought that I would be writing books about mediumship and I still will, and like psychic abilities. But what's important and poignant to me right now is to spread awareness around spirituality and the craft and self-empowerment. That is why you see my subscription, you know, that launched last month. That is why you see the workshops that I'm creating around the witch wound. I am creating awareness around my spirituality, and that is how I am shifting. That is how my 12th house is being impacted by this Aries into Neptune, like the Neptune into Aries shift, okay? So I want you to look and see where Pisces falls in your chart. Look at the house it's in, look up the meaning of the house, and I want you to do some automatic writing around what would have shifted during that time. And then the same thing is, where does Aries fall in your chart? And that kind of will give you a clue on whatever house it falls in. That is the theme of where your shift will be happening, right? Now, let me just see. This is all about new beginnings. Okay, so how to get through it, right? So how to get through and harness this, because all of these transits are happening, and for you to really feel them and grow from a spiritual level, from a human level, just from being a good person level, right? You have to kind of like, it's almost like seeing a horse running through a field, and the horse slows down for a second and you're like ready to jump on it. And as soon as that horse passes you, it's like you got to jump on and ride it, right? And the way to get through and do that is for you to pull focus on what the theme is during that transit, right? So how to get through it: focus on your spirituality. If you don't have one, or if you don't have something that defines, and when I say spirituality, it does actually encompass religion during this one. Usually I don't apply that, but what in your religious belief systems no longer serve you? What is problematic to you? And instead of just subscribing to it just because you've been taught not to question or fight back, this is the time to question. And I wouldn't say fight back so much, but like open up the dialogue out of curiosity of like, is this really what I believe in? Is this really serving my highest purpose? Is this really helping me be a better person in service of other people, right? And when I say that, it's not around like spreading your spirituality to other people, it's about empowering other people, right? So if in any way your spirituality or religion holds you back from being a really good person, I want you to question that. The other thing is, if you don't have a belief system, but if you're curious about what's out there, I want you to start getting some books. Do not get on TikTok. Do not go on social media and look what everyone else is doing. I want you to sit with yourself, write about like, what do I believe and how do I ground myself in my spirituality? And then I want you to get books on it, right? And even if reading is not your go-to, I want it to become your go-to. It is the ultimate empowerment that you could do and harness, is picking up a book. Okay, so if you're like looking at this transit right now and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I need to focus on, what Neptune and Aries offers you, what this transit offers you, is a brief window. So what it's doing is it's going to actually retrograde. So it's going into Aries, right? And we will be in that full Aries archetype, but Neptune is going back and retrograding back into Pisces October 22nd, and it's going to be there for a couple months. So if it's not something you could focus on right now, it'll be something that you can focus on for a few months come October and be like, all right, I'm coming back into this. What is it that I need to focus on? And the themes will be like glaringly obvious to you on what you need to work on before it goes back into finally the Aries transit in 2026. Here's what I want you to focus on: is action more than illusion. In the Aries archetype, you're asked to step up and hold strong fucking boundaries around whatever this transit, this interpersonal inner world transit that's happening within you, not even in the, because you're seeing it in the outside world play out on the screen already, but in your inner world, I want you to step up and hold boundaries around it, because this is like giving Phoenix energy. This is like, stand up for yourself, hold boundaries, and be strong in it, right? Because Pisces, as much as I love Pisces, it is a dreamy, illusion filled, and it is very intuitive based archetype. But we're coming out of that into something that is more strong, and it's more clear, and it is to the point, and it is like fighting for yourself. In that Aries archetype, you're asked to kind of like basically nut up and figure it out, right? It's like, it's asking you to really do the work around what this transit means to you. And here's the thing, the stronger that you get within yourself and you do the inner work, the more that you will be able to participate in the revolution. And it is chaos, you know, like you need chaos to create uniformity. But the more inner work that you do, the more you'll be able to finally participate in that outer world revolution that is happening. And that is the goal, because you want to be the change. But first you have to look within yourself and know where you need to shift so that you could be a part of that revolutionary time. So PM me with any questions that you have. Like I said, this is the mother of all transits this year. This is going to be the definitive transit. And so I hope that my video helps. Good luck and take care.